Hello and welcome to our daily news roundup here on Atlantic TV. I am Nkechi Tejure. Here are our top stories. Nigeria gets new injectable drug to prevent HIV. House of Reps approves prison term for dual party membership. Tinubu names Lamido Yuguda as CBN deputy governor. Iran attacks. Qatar slams UN over lack of action. Valverde hat-trick seals Madrid's 3-0 victory over Man City. Now to the news in full. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has secured federal government's backing to probe vice-chancellors accused of mismanaging TET fund allocations. ASU President Professor Chris Piwona raised concerns over weak oversight of university leaders, saying some misused funds meant for public institutions, and warned the union will soon scrutinize all vice-chancellors. He also accused TET Fund of supporting private universities, arguing it undermines the fund's mandate to strengthen public institutions. The Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, pledged support, stressing that every naira allocated must be properly used and accounted for. The event also saw the presentation of 82 academic textbooks authored by Nigerian scholars on the TET Fund's book development project, aimed at reducing reliance on foreign publications and boosting locally authored resources. ASU says it will ensure public universities fully account for TET Fund allocations while the government continues efforts to improve higher education nationwide. The federal government has confirmed the arrival of a new HIV prevention injection known as lenacapavir, marking a major step in Nigeria's fight against the virus. The development, approved by the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Ali Pate, is supported by the Global Fund and is expected to expand access to innovative HIV prevention options across the country. Health officials say the introduction of lenacapavir for pre-exposure prophylaxis, also known as Len-PrEP, will broaden prevention choices for people at risk of HIV infection. The long-acting injectable drug is administered just twice a year, offering a more convenient alternative to daily oral prevention medications. Speaking in a statement, the national coordinator of the National HIV, Viral Hepatitis and STDs Control Program, Adebola Bashorum, said the arrival of the drug demonstrates Nigeria's commitment to using innovation and evidence-based interventions to accelerate progress towards controlling the HIV epidemic. According to him, the program will work with partners and stakeholders to ensure the safe introduction and strategic deployment of lenacapavir as part of the country's HIV prevention services. He added that expanding prevention options and strengthening service delivery would help reduce new HIV infections and improve health outcomes across Nigeria. Lenacapavir is expected to be made available in Nigeria and 119 other low and middle-income countries at an estimated cost of $40 per person annually, following licensing agreements with generic manufacturers. The House of Representatives has amended the Electoral Act 2026 to prohibit Nigerians from belonging to more than one political party at the same time. Under the amendment, anyone found guilty of dual party membership could face a fine of 10 million naira, a 2-year prison term, or both. Lawmakers say the move is aimed at strengthening party discipline and improving transparency in Nigeria's electoral system. The new provision adds subsections to Section 77 of the Act, stating that any individual discovered to be registered in multiple political parties will have such memberships declared invalid. Supporters of the amendment say the measure will close loopholes often exploited during party primaries and political defections, while also strengthening the integrity of elections supervised by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Former Speaker of the House of Representatives and former Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal has resigned from the People's Democratic Party and defected to the African Democratic Congress (ADC). Tambuwal announced his decision in a statement posted on the social media platform X, saying he had formally notified his ward chairman of his resignation before joining the ADC with his supporters. He cited the PDP's prolonged internal crisis, leadership disagreements, and growing divisions as the key reasons for leaving the party, saying the situation had weakened the unity and direction that once defined it. Tambuwal added that he believes the ADC offers a stronger platform for democratic progress as Nigeria moves towards the next electoral cycle. President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of Lamido Abubakar Yuguda as Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, subject to confirmation by the Nigerian Senate. A statement by presidential spokesman Bayo Onanuga said the nomination follows the appointment of former Deputy Governor Bala Bello as Special Advisor to the President on Political Economy. Yuguda previously served as Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission from 2020 to 2024 and earlier held several positions at the central bank. He also worked as an economist at the International Monetary Fund and later returned to the CBN, where he retired in 2016 as Director of the Reserve Management Department. Nigeria's electricity crisis may deepen as gas suppliers threaten to halt supply to thermal power plants over an estimated 3.3 trillion naira debt owed by power generation companies, raising fears of widespread blackouts. The Chief Executive Officer of the Association of Power Generation Companies, Dr. Joy Ogaji, said the mounting debt across the sector is pushing Nigeria towards a major power crisis. Recent data from the Nigerian Independent System Operator shows that electricity generation has dropped below 4,000 megawatts, with the 11 power distribution companies sharing just 3,053 megawatts, leaving millions of Nigerians with unreliable supply amid rising fuel costs and intense heat. Thermal plants, which account for 70% of the national grid, are particularly affected by gas suppliers' demand payments before supplying fuel. Ogaji explained that the debt stems largely from unpaid obligations by the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC, which currently owes generation companies about 6.8 trillion naira, with roughly 3.3 trillion naira owed to gas suppliers. She warned that without urgent resolution, several power plants may shut down, further worsening electricity shortages across the country. The federal government, through the Ministers of Power and State for Petroleum, Gas, says the situation is being addressed. However, industry experts like former Power Minister Bath Naji stressed that despite Nigeria's rich gas reserves, supply constraints and the gap between regulated and market gas prices continue to strain the electricity sector. Consumers are being urged to brace for potential outages if the debt crisis is not swiftly resolved. You're watching our daily news roundup here on Atlantic TV. We'll go on a short break. When we return, more news stories on the foreign scene and on sports. To stay tuned.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Welcome back. Now to the foreign scene. Qatar has urged the United Nations Security Council to take immediate action to stop Iranian attacks across the Middle East, warning that failure to act sends a dangerous signal. Qatar's UN ambassador Sheikha Aya Ahmed bin Saif Al Thani condemned Iran's missile and drone strikes as violations of international law, saying they threaten regional stability and undermine bilateral relations. Her call came ahead of the Security Council vote on a draft resolution denouncing Iranian strikes on Gulf Cooperation Council countries. The attacks, launched after U.S. and Israeli operations against Iran, have also targeted civilian infrastructure, disrupting energy production and air travel in the region. Casualties and damage continue to mount, with reports of death in the U.S., Israel, UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain, and Saudi Arabia. Iran says its attacks have hit military and strategic targets, including oil facilities and other infrastructure, while thousands of residential buildings have been affected. Meanwhile, Gulf states are defending their territories. Oman reported drone strikes on fuel tanks at Salalah port, causing fires but no major damage, while Saudi Arabia and the UAE intercepted drones and missiles aimed at oil installations. Qatar said it thwarted 3 waves of missile attacks on Wednesday. Away from that, now to sports news. Real Madrid produced a stunning performance to defeat Manchester City 3-0 in the first leg of their UEFA Champions League round of 16 clash at the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium. Uruguayan midfielder Federico Valverde scored a remarkable first-half hat-trick within 22 minutes to give the Spanish Giants a commanding advantage despite missing key players including Kylian Mbappe. Madrid dominated the encounter, although Vinicius Jr. missed a second-half penalty that could have extended the lead. Goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois also made crucial saves to keep City from scoring. The result leaves Madrid firmly in control ahead of the second leg in Manchester next week, while City manager Pep Guardiola will be hoping his side can mount a comeback. Iran says it may not take part in the 2026 FIFA World Cup due to security concerns linked to ongoing regional conflicts. Iran's Minister of Sports and Youth, Ahmad Donyamali, said the national team cannot safely participate in the tournament, which will be co-hosted by the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Iran had been scheduled to play group matches against New Zealand and Belgium in Los Angeles on the 15th of June and 21st of June, and against Egypt in Seattle on the 26th of June. The development follows recent strikes by the United States and Israel that reportedly killed Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Iran later launched retaliatory missile and drone attacks targeting Israel and countries hosting U.S. military bases. Although Gianni Infantino, president of FIFA, said Donald Trump had assured him Iran would be welcomed to compete. Donyamali insisted the security situation makes participation impossible. He said the safety of Iranian players cannot be guaranteed amid months of conflict that have resulted in thousands of casualties. Meanwhile, the head of the Football Federation Islamic Republic of Iran, Mehdi Taj, has also questioned the team's ability to participate, citing security concerns after several members of Iran's women's national team sought humanitarian visas in Australia. If Iran withdraws from the tournament, FIFA rules allows the football governing body to select a replacement team. Possible options include nations from the Asian Football Confederation, such as Iraq or the United Arab Emirates. The situation could affect the tournament's group stage schedule and participation lineup. And with that sports news, we come to the end of our daily news roundup for today here on Atlantic TV. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms for more news stories and headline updates. Thank you so much for watching. I am Nkechi Tejere. Have a pleasant day.